This is the city of Absalom, the city at the center of the world. Absalom is celebrating the Radiant Festival, a 3-month festival of epic proportions held once every 100 years. The celebration attracts all types: tourists, performers, merchants, inventors, as well as unsavory types, petty thieves, gangs, cults, and criminal enterprises. That's where we come in. We protect and serve. We are the agents of Edgewatch.
Hey everyone, welcome to Roll for Combat Agents of Edgewatch. I'm your GM and host, Team Glicker, and in this week's episode, they managed to track down and capture Gord, but now they have him. What do they do with him? That is the tricky part. Find out this week. So I'm going to continue my 2-part series of how we make Roll for Combat. Now, last week I went over how we record the show, and this week I'm going to go over how we edit the show. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of details as to what tools I use and exactly how I do it, because that's going to be boring for most of you. Trust me. Instead, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the philosophy of how we edit the show and why I edit it a certain way. Now, when it comes to actually editing the show, this is very tricky because there's a reason why the best actual plays are the best actual plays. There's one thing pretty much in common with all of them, and you will notice that the very best actual plays have very little dead space in them. Not all of them, but in most of them. What I mean by that is most actual plays, especially way back when I first started this almost 5 years ago, there was so much dead space. You listen to these things, it's boring because you know what? A lot of times when you're playing these games, people are sitting around, they're talking, they're getting drinks, they're just fooling around with dice. There's what we call dead space, and no one wants to listen to that. And whether it was on purpose or by accident, but the very best actual plays are all really good because they just keep things moving. They have almost no dead space. They always have you being entertained. And that is because the best actual plays are usually by actors or professional improv people. In fact, my favorite actual play of all time was Harmon Quest, or Harmontown, by Dan Harmon from Community fame and Rick and Morty. Anyhow, he had a podcast for a very, very long time, and they actually played Pathfinder on that podcast, and it was amazing. And they were incredible. They were it's the best actual play I've ever heard. It is a complete and utter disaster of a mess. I mean, from an actual story point of view, it's pretty good, but oh my god, it's a mess. Because sometimes they were blackout drunk when they were doing this show. Now, you can actually find Harmon Quest. It's actually a television show on TV, and Harmon Quest is pretty good, but that's pretty heavily edited, and that's obviously designed as a television show. What I almost recommend is that you listen to actually Harmontown, and that is the old podcast that's no longer live anymore. But at the end of every show, they would just do, well, they called it D&D, but it was actually Pathfinder, and they were so good. They were just unbelievably good, especially when they had special guests that were improv actors. Now, the reason they were so good is because half of their cast were professional improv. And I mean not just like pretty good at improv, like the television show Who's My Line, that improv show, half of Harmontown is actually from that show. So they were incredible. And I would listen to them and think, okay, this is why they're so good. Because they're riffing off each other, they're moving it forward, and they basically use the rules of improv to move the show forward. And that's why it's so good. Now, what the hell does this have to do with editing? It really has a lot to do with editing because you want to move the show forward. You do not want to have a lot of dead space. So what I do is I edit the show in such a way that, yes, We are not quite that good. I wish we were, but no, we're not. We probably never will be. We're not professional actors. We're not professional improv people. We're good, but we're not that good. We always try to keep and move the show along, but at the same time, we are actually playing a game. You know, that's the other thing, is that a lot of these really good actual plays, I can argue with you that they are 90% entertainment and 10% actual playing a role-playing game. Not all of them, but most of them. I'm trying to do, I'd say a 50-50 split. I'd almost say a 60% role-playing, 40% entertainment. And that's on purpose. You know, we are trying to be more realistic with the actual game, and if we entertain you at the same time, great. That's what we're trying to do. But the point being is that you need to move this thing forward. You can't have dead space. So we cut out, or rather I cut out, as much dead space as possible. Some of this is literally just dead space. Sometimes I have to look up a rule, or I actually have to look something up in the book, and it could be quiet for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay, not 5 minutes. But the point is, 30 seconds of dead air sounds like 10 hours, okay? Even 5 seconds of dead air can sound like 30 minutes because it really kills the pacing when you have a lot of dead air. So we cut out a lot of the dead space. The other thing is I go through, if you can't hear someone, if there's coughing, if there's ums and ahs, I take that out. And then finally I take out like all the breaks, because we often will have breaks. We're often sometimes looking up rules. Sometimes there's computer problems, obviously technical issues, that's all taken out. So in the end, we might have a 3-hour episode. I take out all the talking. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We always talk in the beginning of these shows. Usually the rule is if it's a 3-ring adventure, we talk for about half an hour before the show. And if it's Edgewatch, we talk for a good hour before the actual show starts. So if you're not a patron, you're missing out on at least half an hour to an hour of us just talking about things that have nothing to do with the podcast. Anyhow, I cut that out. I then cut out all the dead space. I cut out everything else. And next thing you know, a 3-hour podcast has turned into a 2-hour podcast, sometimes an hour-and-a-half podcast. So that is just how much, quote, dead space that I'm taking out of each of these shows. Another thing that determines how hard a show is to edit is what type of show it is. If we're sitting around and just talking, those are much easier to edit. Those shows with combat, those are tricky. Those are always the hardest ones to edit because there's a lot of back and forth. I try to keep the pacing up. I try to keep it going pretty quick, but not so quick that you feel like you're being rushed. And I also try to make it so like the dice rolls don't go over when someone's talking, so I'm manually moving those around. So after I cut up an episode, and usually, as I say, every single show I can usually get 2 episodes out of. It just depends on the show. I try not to cut up combat, so either I cut one show that's 2 hours long into 2 shows, or if I have a show that's like an hour and a half or so, I just make that one show. I put it through a lot of tools, try to make it sound as good as possible, assemble it, and then last thing I do is record this intro that you hear right here. I usually do the intro just a few days before it goes live. This way it's fresh. This way the show notes are fresh. And that's kind of it. Again, I won't go into all the technical details, but there's a million things about that. I will tell you, I use Audacity. That's the main tool I use to record everything and do all my editing, which is a free tool that anyone can use. However, the other tool I use to do all the balancing and other work is called Isotrope, and that is like a $3,000 tool, so you probably don't need that. It's a little overkill. It's something I actually use in my regular job, so I was able to, use this for this job too. And once you own it, you own it. It's like one of these things. Once you buy it, you just have it forever. You never really need to upgrade it. But it's a professional editing tool that will do amazing things. For example, if you have like a fan going off, you can take it out pretty easily. If you have dogs barking in the background, you can take it out. It's a pro-level audio editing tool, and it's really, really good. So as I said before, I record the intro, I edit the intro, I assemble it, we throw it up on Patreon on Wednesday, and you get the episodes every Friday and Tuesday, and there we go. That is how we put together the show. So if that sounds cool to you, I might have a job for you. That's right. I am looking for editors of Roll for Combat. I had a great guy, amazing guy. He was the best editor I've ever had, and he was doing a fantastic job helping me out. What he would do is listen to the show and help me edit it on a weekly basis. I mean, he basically was the producer of the show. He got a little burnt out, and he also had a lot going on with his life. I think he got married, and he had a big promotion at work, so he just doesn't have time to do our show anymore. So I'm going to be looking for some new people to help me out. This is a paid position where what you get to do is you help me edit the show on a weekly basis. What I will do is I will give you the show in its raw format. Then you need to download it and just sort of go through it and do exactly what I just described this week. You sort of help me edit out the ums and ahs, edit out the coughs. You basically just listen to the show and just take out what doesn't sound good. I have a complete tutorial of how you can do it. You can do it in Audacity, but if someone out there is a pro at audio editing and knows some of the other tools, there's what's called non-destructive editing. The problem with Audacity is it's destructive editing. If you know what I'm talking about right now, then you are probably a good candidate for this position. And I'm probably going to be looking for 2 people. Originally I had one person, and he was doing both 3-Ring Adventure and Agents of Edgewatch. But just to make this easier for people, if I could find 2 really good people, one person for 3-Ring Adventure and one person for Agents of Edgewatch, that would be great. And what would you be required to do? Pretty simple. You'd get the shows, you listen to them, you edit them, then you give me back the raw audio files. And that's pretty much it. If you're an audio engineer or if you have experience with audio in the past, you will probably go to the front of the line, because I do find that people with an audio background always do a much better job at this just because they're trained. Not that they're any better than anyone else, they just have more experience than other people. However, that doesn't mean that you too couldn't be able to do this. The time commitment, once you get good at this, is approximately, I'd say, 2 to 3 times the amount of audio you're editing. What does that mean? That means if you're editing 2 hours of audio, it'll probably take you somewhere between 4 to 6 hours to actually do the editing. Now, it's not very strenuous. I usually watch TV when I'm doing this, and quite frankly, I've gotten to the point where I am so fast at this that I'm not 1-to-1, but I can usually do 2 hours in about 3 hours, maybe 4. I can do this pretty damn fast, but I have been doing it for 5 years now. However, I do know you will get faster at it. And after a while, it sort of becomes like the Matrix. I swear to God, you can actually look at audio and know what people are saying just by looking at the wavelengths. It's pretty insane. Anyhow, if you're interested in this, I just went through this a lot, contact me on the Discord. I know I did this a few years ago. I had some people try out. I eventually only had one person because they were so good and they had a lot of free time. Unfortunately, that person does not have a lot of free time, and as I said, this is a paid position. Just contact me on the Discord channel. Let me know. Make sure you do have the time commitment. This will require approximately 4 to 6 hours from you every week. You can, of course, do more. That's often what people will do, is that they'll have a free week and they'll just do like 5 shows in a row, and then they can take off a few weeks, and then they do like another 3 or 4 or 5 shows in a row. That's what I also like to try to do. But it does require a fair amount of time to do it. It is fun. You do learn a lot, especially if you want to get into audio engineering, especially if you want to get into audio editing, and quite frankly, get paid while you're learning how to do it. So, get in contact with me on the Discord channel at rollforcombat.com. You can find me there, and we'll go from there. Anyhow, with that, let's get to this week's show notes. Once again, go to RPG Superstar, vote on the monsters. Please vote on the monsters. The best monsters to find is there is select a random monster for me button. Press that button, and that will bring you to the monsters that we want you to vote on, because those monsters need the most votes. So go to that, just rpgsuperstar.com. Help us out with the voting. Pick your favorites. It's a lot of fun. Of course, Battle Zoo Bestiary. It's for sale now. The Foundry module just came out. It will be compatible with the latest version of Foundry, which is 0.9, and it is amazing. I really don't know how Foundry's doing it. I mean, I do know how they're doing it. It's getting to the point that I really do like Roll20, but it's just not even competition anymore. I mean, Foundry is just ridiculous how good it is, especially for Pathfinder. It just does everything, and it just gets better and better and better every single time. It's just mind-boggling. I really can't believe how good it is. Anyhow, our module's out there. All the Battles of Bestiaries in there. And again, we had the people who actually write Foundry do the module for us. So the module is kick-ass, let me tell you. And it's on sale right now. Just go to battlezoo.com and you can get the module for a significant discount. Once again, go to battlezoo.com. Everything you need is in there. All the monster part system, all the items, all the monsters, everything. All built in the Foundry. And then finally, do check out the Discord. Just go to discord.rollforcombat.com. Do check out Jason's Talking Combat column every single week. He seems to be getting later and later and later with his comms, but he eventually turns them in, and then we post them on the site. So check those out. Anyhow, with that, let's get to this week's exciting adventure. Last we left off, you managed to successfully apprehend Gord John. That's right, Gord John, the brother of Marissa John. And you hopefully hope that somehow by having the Washboard Dogs gang leader's brother, that maybe she'll play ball with you and you can finally make some progress on this case. And you, a little touch and go there. That was that demon was no joke. That demon was having a little bit of fun with you, but you took care of it. But the real winner last week was Basil Blackfeather, who single-handedly apprehended Gord. That's right. Didn't need any of your help. Nope. He did it all by himself. Might give him an extra hero point. You know what, Basil? You get 2 hero points because you're so badass. Woo-hoo! That's right. And now you went back to the Star Watch. You're hanging out. You got Gord locked up. You're having some dinner. Now what?
Let me kill him.
Chris Beamer is playing Lo Mang, an orc tiefling monk of the Crane style.
Well, did we take him back to the chief?
John Statz is playing Cadet Dougie McDougal, a human ruffian rogue.
Yeah, you're back at Starwatch, and it's nighttime now because it took like half. You were apprehending him at dusk, so by now it's nighttime.
I'm absolutely going to bed. I need a good night's sleep.
Seth Lipton is playing Gomez, a goblin elementalist sorcerer.
Yeah,
okay.
We're all beat up. We're
right.
Take him in for processing.
Yep. He's already in his little comfy jail cell.
He
likes it here. He's like, oh, this place is a lot nicer than where they normally take me. Oh, this is great. I hope I'm here for a couple of days.
Yeah, what'd I tell you? That's what I told you. I told you it was a nice place. Better food, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're never going to get to leave, but that's,
Yeah, don't be nice to him.
It depends. If your sister will play ball, we could work something out.
Oh, don't worry. She'll be getting me out of here in no time. Don't worry about that.
Oh,
we're actually counting on it.
Oh, well, I'm sure she's gonna want to talk to you. All right. You guys can all rest up, wake up.
I go to my room, which is here, the private
and
room.
you're level 8. What? You went down a level? Oh, no!
Wait.
Oh, I got you there. I got you. You thought I was going to tell you leveled up. No, you didn't level up. You didn't level down either. So now it's not as disappointing because I could just level you down. You know what it's like? It's like EverQuest, Seth. Remember when you would be level 14 and you would die so much you'd be level 13 trying to get your body, and then next thing you know you're level 12. You keep losing levels.
I remember that well.
That was hardcore.
That was hardcore.
Really
Those
was.
corpse runs. Oof.
No one. I would never tolerate that now. In a game, I just couldn't do it.
That might be my new rule. If you die, you lose a level. There we go. Every time you die, you lose a level.
I would run away a lot more. if that's possible.
Okay. Well, of course, I can do it the other way. You die and you start off as level 1.
Nice. That's definitely like that. That's
Dude, back in the old days, you would lose levels just by fighting certain creatures. Like a vampire would take 2 levels from you.
yes,
flat
it
out.
would. Yep.
Flat out.
Yeah.
And it was just during a fight.
In first edition. Yep.
Hey man, I remember first edition. I had a wizard at 4th level had 5 hit points. Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
How does that? I mean, of course it's possible because you keep rolling a 1 on that 1d4.
A wizard at first level could have 1. Yeah,
I had
Yeah,
1 hit point when that was in Seth's campaign. He made me roll, and I got like I had remember a 4 in strength. And I rolled, and the only thing I could make was a wizard, and then I rolled a 1 for hit points, and I was like, "Great."
That's right. Yeah, hero lore can only be a half orc.
That was the thing about that game. It was like charisma was important because you'd have henchmen. Like parties were supposed to be like you'd have a 10-person
entourage.
party.
Yeah,
you were supposed to have a 10-person party.
That's how he lived because he had 4 bodyguards that surrounded him at all times.
Exactly. That's what the game was.
That's how you did it. Of course, it totally got out of hand because then you'd be walking around with literal parties of like 30 people.
It can be a lot of fun. It can be. It really can.
It was fun.
I remember though, you get like if you run into a ghost, you get hit by a ghost. It's 1d4 times 10 years aged, and if you
that's right. Yeah, there's no getting that back. There's no, and you die of old age. You cannot come back.
Why you always played an elf? Because then you had years to spare.
Jason McDonald is playing Basil Blackfeather, a Tengu empiricist investigator.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're a human or like a half orc or something, and you age like 40 years and you die from old age, you're permadead. Like
you cannot come back from that.
Cannot come back. Yep.
Well, I also did like the old age rule. So like as you age, like your abilities would go down.
Stats change.
Yeah, your stats literally changed.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Your wisdom and stuff would go up, and your strength and dex and all that goes down.
Man, well, that's why Barbarian was so freaking popular, because it's like, D12 for hit points? Sign me up. It's like, wow, you can actually make something that might live.
I think it was Ranger in first edition. I got 2d8 at first level, which is like, that was nice.
I think also I remember that Barbarian was, I think, the first extra class they ever released in Dragon Magazine. And it was right around the Conan era, like 82, 83.
Yeah.
And I was very excited because it was so powerful. I loved the Barbarian back then. It was really good. But back in this world, back in the Pathfinder world, where you're already massively strong, Basil has 2 hero points. They didn't have hero points back in D&D 1.0.
Hell no.
You know what you had? You had dice and the dice gods, and you prayed to those dice gods that they wouldn't kill you today. That's what you had. But you all go to bed, you all wake up, and sure enough, there's someone outside to see the Star Watch agents.
We go outside.
Okay. You go into the courtyard, and it's a kid. It's like looks like
Doesn't look like a kid.
Well,
He's got a long beard for a little kid.
Okay, well, that's the receptionist. I don't have the token here, but there's a token.
Okay.
Use your imagination. There's a
All right.
10-year-old little boy who's there, and he looks at you and says, "Are you the agents who have Gord?"
Maybe. Who's
Maybe.
asking?
Depends who's asking.
Well, if you are, Marissa would like to meet with you tonight at the groundwater tunnel at midnight. She will make a deal with you in exchange for Gord. I was told to relay this message to you.
Are we supposed to bring him to this meeting?
Yes,
we should.
it's an exchange.
I don't know.
Well,
If we're playing this a different way, if this is a different world, really the thing we should do is dominate the meeting. Like we should we should define the location and the terms and put like rather than going in an inferior position on her turf.
It's a trap.
She comes in, and we're in the superior position and start off in the spirit negotiating position. But I guarantee you, if we suggest that, won't go anywhere.
Well, also, we could go there and not bring him and find out what her terms are, She doesn't need him standing there to discuss.
Oh no, it would
curse.
be
If
dumb
that's-
to bring him. Honestly, it would be.
Yeah,
dumb.
we're not bringing him. I'm not telling the kid that. Like, I think we should, like, we're huddled up. We're not, like...
Yeah,
we're
but flat
not
out,
stoned.
we should be like, no, it's not going to work, kid. You tell her we're available from 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, except for lunch hour, and she can call my secretary and make arrangements for an appointment. You go away.
I think, that's
we're
not gonna
Star
work.
Watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She doesn't have necessarily something that we want. We have something she wants. But we can't bring the guy though.
No, we're not bringing the guy. Like, is that what? Just to reiterate, is that what they? This one of the stipulations is to bring Gord.
Yep, that's one of the stipulations.
Okay. We can tell the kid we'll see her at midnight. You know, have that lie of omission in there, but and see what the kid says. I suppose
Honestly,
we could do
we
that.
I'd be quite willing to tell him flat out we're not bringing Gord.
Yeah.
I think we're negotiating from enough of a position of strength that he's facing some pretty serious charges.
If anything, we should find our own child and send our own child to that meet. And then rearrange that way. Like she's sending some little messenger kid to us to make arrangements. We should do exactly the same thing about her.
Can anyone
We'll send
intimidate
Basil's
this
brother.
kid?
Yeah, exactly.
Can anyone intimidate this kid to get him to do that? I mean, we've got a child right here.
Well, I'm not going to intimidate a child. Oh my god! It's a child.
Let's send Sharky.
He's literally a
we could
messenger boy.
No, we scare him straight, Seth. All right,
Let's
It
send
works.
Sharky as our.
Oh, that would be perfect. Yeah, send Sharky. Send Sharky as our messenger. That would be good. That is what we should do.
I like that because if something happens to him,
Yeah, so
I know what
lost there.
Yeah, it's comic relief. Something happens to him.
All right, well,
Oh, I don't know anything about this. I was just told to bring this message. I don't know how to get back in touch with them. I was literally just paid a nice silver piece, and he holds it up and he puts it away real quick. He goes, "I was just told to tell you that message." That's it.
all right, thank you
So
very
what do you
much.
get? Like, in all seriousness, what do you guys want to do? There's really There's two ways to play it. One way is we do it the way that we would do it in any kind of real world context. Like the FBI doesn't bring their prisoner to to talk to the mafia boss as like pleading for something. That's not how it works.
Even though we'd be escorting an unarmed man,
right.
we're not going to go into that.
Right.
Yeah.
If anything, literally, like we do send we do send a messenger and say and tell them like, well, you can meet us at in our offices at this time. And we can negotiate there. He still stays in a cell, of course.
Yeah.
That's the entire process, and we work something out. Or we could go where this is kind of set up to go, which is totally do what the kid says. Bring the guy, and we have an RP encounter.
I'm willing to take the meeting, but I don't think we bring the kid.
Yeah.
I think we leave him behind and we say, look, we're not putting everything on the line to trust you. We'll release him if you give us something good enough. But
Yeah, I mean, we can do that. Like, the kid's not taking a return message. This is like a.
We could
give
actually
him a silver piece and he'll.
we can give him a letter. We can give him a letter.
No, you guys. He just said.
well, but he might be
cannot
lying. So we could just give him a silver piece and send a message.
Yeah.
If he accidentally happens to bump into her,
Okay. Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. It's just
Or we could I don't know. Or we could actually hire him to go back to the meet. And just have him be the
we're not
go-between
going to
between
put
both of us.
civilians in danger. We're not, that's-
Or we could just bring the guy like she asked, because you know what? How they would never dare to touch us because we're Star Watch.
Well, that's what I think is the
Yeah,
other
right.
option. I mean, it's like we either kind of
They
go off
wouldn't
script
dare.
and do something.
mighty optimistic of you.
Yeah, it's like we can either go off script and do something rational, or we just go, or we do exactly what has been laid before us and take the guy and just show up at the meet and see what happens.
No, we're
I
not
say
taking
we
the
leave
guy.
the kid behind. I say that's our only insurance to not get just waylaid and killed.
Oh, there's the kid. Yeah, we don't want
She
John
wants her-
Doe
she
with
wants
the
her
upper
brother
hand,
back.
so
She can play ball a little
he can
bit.
go.
Well, it's the strategically. I don't know. I think it'll just muck things up because the other angle is if they're powerful enough, we should just bring them because if they're powerful.
no,
but listen to me. If they're powerful enough to take him from us, they're powerful enough to take us hostage. See what I'm saying? They would have to beat us in a fight, which means if we're going to assume
her
that
brother is still in the line in the jaws of the law.
Oh my God!
And they got kidnapping of 4 police officers against her. If we don't check back in.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay, then let's go because I think it'll just make things a little bit more difficult than the DM. But all right.
Yeah, we're not taking him. That's not against. He's been apprehended. He's a criminal. He's where he should be. He's gonna get his
like
3 hots in a cot and
dude. But as far as rationality goes, back to what I said initially. We send a messenger to the meet and say that's bullshit. We're not going to put ourselves in your power, and we're an authority here. You come meet us. That's what we do.
Well,
if we're going to play rationally,
yeah. And then when they kill that messenger, we don't want to. We don't want to endanger a messenger. And we just finished up.
I'll go.
We just finished up.
I'll send my bird. I'll send my bird feather token. I'll send my bird feather token for the message. Actually, it's been perfect. I'll send the bird.
In the meantime, the kid in front of us, I will give him a silver, and say, if you happen to, or we're not bringing the kid though, right? Either way.
You mean Gord? Well, the kid is the little kid,
the messenger kid. Sorry, the messenger kid. We're not bringing We're not bringing Gord to the meet.
No.
Are we basically agreed on that at least?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes. We're all agreed.
I'll go with it. I'm
go.
taking in for a penny, in for a pound. I think we either follow the script or we don't.
We're not. We're not following the script. We all agree with that.
If we don't follow the script, then I send my bird to the meet.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
We're saying come to our office at 5.
I don't think they're going to ever come to the office because then they're going to be.
Then she loses her brother. We're see, that's the leverage to make them do anything.
I think there's value to being brave, but not to being stupid. I think going to the meet is brave. Going to the meet with her brother is stupid.
I like lawful.
That's the difference to me.
I like lawful stupid is my line.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
lawful stupid works for me.
I think it's weird. It's I think going to the meet is it's beneath us. It's
that's true. Okay, so what we can do is we'll send your feather token.
It's what's the word? What's the word for being like a simp? It's it's obsequious or whatever the word is.
But okay. You got to read between the lines. I mean,
I don't mind going, but not bringing the guy. How about that?
All right, so let's go. All right, so let's do that. All right, enough quibbling about it. It's a quibble.
All right,
so yeah, let's go.
Let's tell the messenger kid that, so we're not trying. In case, I know you said you don't see her, but in case you run into her again, and I hand him another silver piece. In case you run into Marissa again, tell her we accept the meeting, but her brother is staying here. Just in case you run into her.
Okay.
That sounds great.
All right. If I see them, I'll let them know. I don't think they're going to be happy.
I don't think I care because her brother is facing pretty serious charges.
Serious charges. Are you sure you're Starwatch? Because
now we're getting shade from a little kid. This is getting a little ridiculous. Get out of here. Scram.
Okay. He runs away.
I know.
No respect. No respect. You move from Edgewatch to Starwatch. Doesn't matter.
I don't know. It seems like everybody yells at us.
Everyone yells at you.
I figure we can give him the brother in 20 minutes if things work out. I mean,
what do we want at this meeting anyway? We've got lost.
We want to lead on the Twilight 4. We don't actually care. We don't care about the washboard dogs particularly. We want the Twilight 4. They have
generic lead.
They have an in on. Well, they've been dealing with them. I mean, I don't know what that lead looks like, but
it would be good. It would be good. We should maybe just think of some specifics. We should have certain specific piece of information we want.
Well, I can tell you a few things that. This is what you can do. How about this? It's bright and early, 8 a.m. in the morning. They don't even want to meet until midnight. So you got a whole day to do whatever you want to do. Research, information, you name it. Whatever you want to do. You got time. So you let me know.
Buy potions?
Yeah, whatever you need.
Can we go do a recon of that place?
Of course.
During the day and see what it looks like in terms of how...
Oh, at least that's a great idea. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that
definitely.
at least.
Yep. You can find out information about... So here's the thing about Marissa John. She has a history a mile long. Like, she's been around in Absalom for 30 years. So you have a rap sheet on her, tons of information. So these aren't like people you know nothing about. You can easily find out information about, well, most of these people, actually. These gang leaders have, long rap sheets and have been in and out of the system a dozen times.
But yeah,
but not enough for us to be able to gauge anything tactical. Like we don't know a relative power or anything like that. We can't get a level out of any of this.
Of course you do. Yeah, you could.
All right, so let's do that. Let's figure out what level she is.
well, and also we might get something we can use as leverage, or might just get some insights into how to approach her. So let's do some research on her. Oh, I will also set her as the target of one of my investigations as a formality point to if this breaks into a fight.
Well, Basil can spend time researching her, and that will take like a few hours. Going through the various files. What about the rest of you?
I'm up for going down and
reconnoiter.
Reconnoitering the meeting place.
Yeah, that's it. We're gonna recon.
Okay,
I'm in on that.
I'll have you three recon. Basil, you can read that history and see how much of that you want to relate to people. And I will bring you to where you need to go. All right, so you find the meetup spot, and it is a tunnel. It's called the groundwater tunnel. It's in a drainage ditch in the docks. It's a short passageway that runs under one of the cobblestone streets of the district that goes to a gravelly beach at the southern end of the docks. And this place looks like a death trap. It's obviously a tunnel. There's one way in, one way out. Perfect ambush. There you go. In fact, I put you there. That is the tunnel.
All right, now that I've seen that, I have one thing to say. Never have the meeting in a basement.
That's right. That's right.
We're absolutely having the meeting in a basement.
Huh.
And in fact, you guys can do... Loman, give me a survival check.
Okay.
Where would I stage my people for an ambush? That's what I'm looking for. Like, where would we go to arrange an ambush? Like, is there a...
I have a partial idea how we could turn the tables.
Oh, yeah?
When the time comes, we could come in under invisibility sphere.
5. All right.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That's an interesting idea. How long does that last? 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Oh,
All right. Well, Dougie is looking around, and he notices there's a couple of old blood stains at the base of one of the tunnel walls, and those are all blood. Dried blood. With blood.
Maybe it's rat blood?
Could be. You got a 5 on your survival check.
Yeah.
What do you know?
I think it's ketchup.
Could be. Someone had a sloppy Joe. Yeah, this is it. It's a tunnel. It's about 20, 25 feet wide in most parts. It's approximately, 100 feet long? And, yep, there you go. Now what?
Huh. Let's see.
You know what? Screw it. Like we have fought literal demons from hell under worse circumstances than this. Maybe I'm not afraid. Maybe let's not be afraid of local mafia.
That's what we said about those guys with the freaking washboards.
Yeah,
I know that is the other side. That is really
us.
funny.
They clobbered us.
That's
Well,
right.
this
That's true.
is the leader of the washboard dog.
Right. That's really funny. That is absolutely.
And those
true.
guys were low level. They don't know anything because I
They knew
mean,
nothing.
Yeah, because they're too low level.
Yeah.
It's like they like a single one of those would single-handedly be able to do the first 2 books of this entire adventure path.
That's true.
yeah.
Well, they're tough in the docks district. What do you want? It's a tough tough racket. There's a nasty part of town. What do you want?
Okay, so when we search this area, am I looking at things that are actually there with this chest, and then there's a little sign of paper?
No.
Okay.
This is just
this is a generic tunnel.
just generic. Yeah, it's just
Right,
a
okay.
generic tunnel. So
Okay.
ignore there's just it's actually sand. It's just a sandy.
Okay.
It's
Candy
very
wrappers, old.
it's garbage. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's literally a washed out tunnel. So, but it looks like a lot of meetings have taken place here. It looks like this is not an uncommon place to meet. So, anyhow, I'm
okay.
sure though. Is there anything else you wish to do? Because I'm
Yes.
sure.
Okay,
Basil has found
before
out
we
lots
go
of
anywhere,
interesting things. Yes.
I do want to look outside the tunnel.
Yes.
Now I'm searching for secret doors in the tunnel.
There's no secret doors.
Okay.
You don't find any.
Then I'm going to look for staging areas for an ambush. Like if I had to secrete some thugs to go into the tunnel, like where would I?
They would just line both sides of the tunnel with thugs. I mean, It's pretty straightforward. You walk in, you wait, and then they show up.
Oh, okay.
With like tons and tons of thugs.
Well, I'm going to use my policing techniques. I'm going to canvass the area and find out if there's any presence of gang activity, recent gang activity that might leave a clue about why they chose this location.
Sure.
Knocking on a few doors. You can
look around.
This me.
Well, this is, for a fact, this is the Washboard Dogs area. Like, this is where they, they run. So, you're kind of in the heart of their territory. I mean, they've been in war with the Doble Sweepers, but that's basically it. This is sort of where they are. Anyhow.
Okay, well, that explains that question. Okay, so I was just making sure we're not missing any crumbs. Okay. We can go back to the station. I want to hear what the captain... Does the captain have any feedback on...
Oh, sure.
Our capture? Yeah, so I also do want to... honestly, I would actually like to talk to the captain before coming here, but...
No, you can go back and talk to the captain.
I don't know how much we can rewind on that, but...
no, just say...
We can just do it in reverse order.
You've already done it, and then you've already seen it, and you can come back. You'll had a nice lunch. Basil, of course, was eating at his desk because Basil's a workaholic. But I imagine Basil found out some pretty interesting things about one Marissa John. I keep saying Joe. Marissa John.
I did. Basically, she got into the gang life to kind of keep her brother safe because her brother was the one getting into trouble all the time at first. So she actually originally joined a gang called the Dead Gulls. And she kind of raised up through the Dead Gulls. Among other things, she was kind of a champion in the underground boxing circuits. So, Lomang, you might have to...
Interesting.
You may end up having a scrap with her. But it was while she was in the Dead Gulls is when she met Burleth. And that's kind of when they became friends. And eventually she got enough money from boxing that she kind of got out of the life for a while, and then she and Burleth decided to start their own gang, and that was the Washboard Dogs. They actually used to both be in the Washboard Dogs, but then eventually the Washboard Dogs got raided, and the drunk lady that we've been dealing with cut Marissa a deal for a reduced sentence in exchange for throwing Burleth under the bus. And so...
And what was that sentence?
Burleth got 10 years in the brine, Absalom's flooded prison. Marissa did 6 months in the Crestwatch jailhouse, and then she basically went back to being the head of the Washboard Dogs, although they were kind of a little bit scaled back from what they used to be. So there's some indication that maybe she's kind of mellowed with age, so maybe she'll be a little more reasonable. On the other hand, when Burleth got out of jail, that's when he started the competing gang, the Diobel Sweepers, and eventually that kind of broke out into gang war between the two. So that's the Cliff's Notes version of this lady.
Yeah, and you would guess if you were going to put a quote level on her, she'd probably be like level 12.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
And what about like her bodyguard, like her lieutenant?
11.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I mean, but the real gang that's the real problem is the other ones, the sweepers, right? Like, those are the ones that are in cahoots with, aren't they I thought, am I getting that wrong?
So here's
that was the other way around.
It's sort of the other way around. The Washboard Dogs were kidnapping people who were late on payments. They were basically doing collections. And if you didn't have your money, well, you paid up with your life.
Your life.
And that's what they were doing. There is a gang warfare right now between the Dobell Sweepers and the Washboard Dogs. You know that the Sweepers are heavy into narcotics and explosives and poisons and drugs. Like, they're actually pretty serious.
Alchemy.
Alchemy. They're actually kind of they're like a whole notch above. Like, the Washboard Dogs are really more into loan sharking, protection rackets, money laundering, things like that.
But they are the one that potentially was working with the skin saw.
Correct.
Right,
They
right.
were working with the skin saws. And then recently, very recently, these two now have gang warfare, which ironically, believe it or not, is a bad thing, because now there's chaos in the docks, and the people who are trying to live their lives are in danger because now the other gangs are moving in. So it's the weird synergy of it was actually better when everyone was at peace. You know, it's the old mafioso 70s, mentality of like, when everyone's at peace, everyone's okay. But once they start fighting, then all the innocent
No one's
people
earning.
Right, and everyone's caught in the crossfire. And then suddenly these people who are paying protection money are getting robbed left and right, and people are getting killed in the street. And, it's
Bad
a tough
for business.
It's a tough place to live, the docks. So that is where you last left off. And
So now I've lost the plot. What's our goal and motivation?
the goal and motivation is that supposedly the Skinner was the least powerful of the Twilight Four, and they all worship Nurgabur. Now, you probably forgot just how bad the Skinner was. Remember how bad the Skinner was? Remember how they were like turning people into undead piñatas and,
Yes.
stitch spiders and that? She was considered the neophyte. She was like the apprentice compared to what the other three are like.
Right,
So
right.
you were given this promotion to find them ASAP, because if she's
Okay, got it.
if she's the easy one, God only knows what the other three are like.
So I'm drawing from that the implication is, because I'm asking about our meeting. I'm asking about these guys. So our goal in this meeting is for them to give us information, not having to do with them or their gang violence or any of that stuff. Like is for them as a source of information to let us target the remaining skin saw bosses.
Yes, and you're trying to find leads on the other three skin saw bosses.
All right, because that's an angle we
And
can.
the
That's an angle we
only-
can talk to her.
Right,
Like,
and the only connection you have is the Washboard Dogs. That's it. That's all you have. You
Okay,
have
so
no other
the
connections.
other three skin.
Twilight Four.
Okay, are the Twilight Four the same guys as the Skinner bosses?
Yes, that's the same.
It's the same thing?
Skinner,
It's the
yeah,
same-
Skinner's
just-
bosses.
Okay,
Twilight
so
Four.
that's all right.
It's
That's
the Infector, the Grey Queen, and the Mangor, right?
She saw gang.
Mongor.
Okay.
Mongor.
yeah. That was very confusing. That's like
Skin saw gang, Chi saw gang,
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
skin saw
Okay.
bosses.
Yeah,
All
long
the same
story
thing.
short, there's 4 super evil people. There's 4 big bad bosses. You have defeated one of the big bad bosses. The other 3 big bad bosses worship Nurgabur, and they're up to no good. Must find them quick.
Okay, good. So we want to talk to the street gang boss, because the street gang boss might know the location of the remaining 3 skin saw bosses.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. And so our approach is sorry, you're a difficult person to find. Sorry we had to take these measures to get an introduction, but we actually have no business with you. What we want is the other bosses of the skin saw cult. And so give us a location where we can find them. You get your brother back, and we get out of your hair.
Well, before we get to that part, we have to find out if the captain is okay with flipping this guy loose.
My understanding from all that they told us was we're only going to be able to hold him for a matter of time. It's actually we're actually exerting them to keep him, not.
I also got
For
the
murder?
sense that being Star
Yeah.
Watch meant we're kind of above or outside of the jurisdiction of these guys anyway. So
yeah,
we
all
can
right,
make
well-
whatever deal we want.
This is silly role playing. I mean, Okay,
I
sure.
agree.
I mean, this is
like
just absolutely
this
absurd.
But this has
I
been
mean, we're
emphasized
cops, but nobody
right.
cares about the law.
Exactly.
and
Well, that was the whole last adventure, right? It's like everybody we catch. Remember the revolving door? Everybody we catch are like, ha ha ha! I'm only going to be here for a week. Ha ha ha! Like it was a consistent theme.
Yes.
Well, that's not true.
But that's what
got put to death.
But I mean,
well, the Skinsaw cult is different. Like like since we've been in Gangland, the rules in Gangland on the docks is revolving door for all these guys that have appeared.
Yeah. Except for
that's
Star
been every
Wars,
single
so-
one. Every single one that's been a member of a gang. I'm not talking about the Skinsaw people. Like every single one that's a part of this Gangland stuff, it's a revolving door. At least every single person that we've had in custody.
Yep.
They've emphasized how it's like
Forget about it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Exactly right. Exactly.
You got it. You literally just summed it up. It's Chinatown.
So, which is good for us because then we don't have to worry about this guy. It's like our only angle in this entire society and all their troubles.
Well, just the docks.
is to get the information. Just give us an address. We just want
If
an
there's
address.
something we could do to help with the gang war, then that would be like a little cherry on the sundae. But we really want the Twilight Four.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the captain is available if you want to see her.
why bother? Let's not see the captain. Let's forget the captain. Like honestly,
That's what I'm thinking.
honestly, I really like. I am the jaded cop. I'm the jaded cop. Where we're cleaning the trash every week, but the bosses won't let us. They just won't let us do it.
That's right. That's right.
So forget the captain.
You've been
Forget
on the job for a month, and you're already.
I'm level 9.
You're like,
I'm
you're
level
like,
9 and
I've
still everybody
seen
spits
it
on me.
all.
He's seen some things.
I'm a level 9 cop walking on my beat. Everyone still spits on my my
No,
shoes.
Right.
It's
Oh, little children spit in your face.
It's
You don't even get respect from the 6th graders, dude.
jeez.
That's right.
Nothing like a feeling of a good day's work done.
Well, you guys have been in the paper like a million times. You're famous.
And even that doesn't give us respect.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, so I'm passing on the captain. Like I'm
I agree.
now
I
a
agree.
rogue. I'm a
I
rogue
agree. I
element
agree.
at this
I
point.
Oh my God,
agree.
they've gone rogue.
I agree.
You
We're loose
have
cannon now.
I throw away
be
my
careful.
badge, but
No,
it will
no,
heal
don't-
me. It'll heal me.
Oh, that's right. Don't throw away the badge. The badge is what keeps you
Yeah.
alive. All right.
Dougie, don't turn away from the law, or we'll have to take you down.
Jordan,
Yeah, that's right.
You know what? You know what I'm doing today? Dougie's gonna go to the bar for his first hard drink. That's what he's gonna do.
No.
He's
All
gonna
right.
do it.
Old Woody.
He's gonna
Here we
drown
go.
his sorrows.
If he is old Woody, won't see him till tomorrow, though.
Disillusioned by the
Yeah.
justice system of Absalom.
Yeah. He's gonna go get a hard cider. That's right, the toughest drink there is.
You're seeing a character evolution in the works.
Dougie is the last Boy Scout.
Character arc happening now.
The last Boy Scout is
I'll be
Jaded.
Garibaldi on
Oh my
Babylon
God.
5.
Oh.
Oh,
shit.
Okay.
All right. So what's the plan? What's the plan? Are you gonna go, or are you sending a bird? Are you sending a kid? Are you bringing Gord, or what?
Okay, so now that we have all this information, I am actually more inclined to using the diplomatic approach rather than the intimidation approach, and actually bring this guy with him.
Oh, yeah, let's bring the guy.
Yeah, bring the guy and immediately give
No
him back.
reason not to.
No, immediately give him back and say, "I'm sorry, it was the only way we could get a hold of you," and then explain our situation, try diplomacy, and try the angle of you guys have been used by horrible murderers that are 10 times worse. It's like try to pull that thing. You know how child molesters get killed in prison?
Yeah.
Yep.
Try to play that angle with them. That these guys are beyond bad. And
Damn,
I don't know that empirically. I've read about it.
Yeah.
That was pretty harsh, right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get it.
And like try that angle and try the diplomatic angle rather than the like you give us information if you want your brother back angle.
You got it.
I like it.
There's Gord, by the way. All right, you get Gord. It's dinner time. It's the Twilight Zone time. It's midnight. Gord's like, oh, I was just getting comfortable in there. Okay, off to the groundwater tunnel we go.
Hey, we're taking
He
Gord
he
with.
seems to know this direction and
Right now,
this
the entire
very
time.
well.
But here's the thing: I'm going to lay the groundwork. the entire time that I'm going back with him, I'm using diplomacy to improve his attitude toward me by telling him all of our adventures with the Skinsaw cult and how terrible they are, explaining to him in the form of, I'm sorry to have to put you through this, but it was only because, and telling him exactly our motivations and the type of people that we're after. In explanation for why we had to go to these lengths and to try to improve his attitude toward us, that maybe if I get his attitude toward us good enough, he could actually be an ally in convincing the sister.
Okay, give me a roll. That's a very, very, very good idea.
Yes, I'm using my I'm using that magic item I have that increases my diplomacy by talking in their language.
Dougie's going to help by
society.
not being there while this happens.
Dougie's already
He's drinking.
drunk. Oh my God! Is that a 35? What
It's
the hell
it's
did
a
you roll?
35. It's a 35 plus
36.
my
36.
extra bonus badge of diplomacy.
So here's
whatever
the deal.
that gives.
Here's the deal, Gomez, especially you. You talking to this guy, and after a few hours chatting with him, walking through the streets, a few weird things happen. First of all, Gomez, you like him a lot. In fact, you see a lot of yourself in this poor kid.
Oh, I probably knew him when I was growing up. Probably knew guys exactly like that one.
Exactly. And you're like, this kid is literally had a terrible life, and he's just trying to get by and just get some enjoyment out of it. And when you talk to him, not only does he completely understand and doesn't even bother. It doesn't even bother him that you used him this way. He totally gets it. But you find out some interesting things when you talk to him, that his sister, he confides in you a little bit. Just to you, Gomez, because you're from the streets and he gets it. You know what it's like. Is that his sister was pressured into dealing with the Twilight Four. In fact, they didn't want anything to do with them. They don't want anything to do with the Skinner or the Twilight Four, and they were pressured into it because they're not as big of a gang. And not only that, knowing that the Skinner was arrested and seeing those headlines, Marissa was very happy. In fact, she might be the first one to shake your hand.
Really? Nice.
Yes, because she was so happy that the Skinner is gone, because they didn't like dealing with her at all. In fact, they're thrilled that the Skinner has been put behind bars, because the watchboard dogs were not doing what they're comfortable doing. Again,
awesome.
They're like a small time. They literally run numbers. They run protection. They're not even into the fighting. They're more like the Sharks and the Jets. They're more like a fun gang, if there's such a thing. They're not into killing and blackmailing. Well, a little bit of blackmailing, but they're not into hardcore killing or coming up with addictive drugs or burning down places for insurance money.
How about large pools of blood or
no? They had nothing.
Skinning people.
Yeah, about that. All right, that's great.
They don't nothing. And in fact, the more you talk to him, not only do you think this guy will totally be on your side, not only do you think that the more you talk to him, you realize that Marissa actually probably likes you guys and even knows who you are because you did a job and something to help her out. But you also find out that there is something afoot. Dun, dun, dun. That's right. And you find out from the brother, who probably shouldn't tell you this, but the Skinners gave Marissa something very valuable to hold for them.
Okay, that sounds great.
So you head on over, but you guys seem to hit it off very well.
Good.
In fact, if this all works out, you can even hang out later. In between. You're like star-crossed lovers. In between him, robbing ships and stuff, and you putting people behind the bars. You guys can go get a drink. Anyhow,
what was that? There was an old movie that it was like these two guys. And
Heat?
Was it Heat? No, there was two guys. It was two guys and they were friends. And I remember the line being, because one of them turned into a bootlegger and the other one was a police officer or like a sheriff or something
Johnny
like that.
Dangerously?
Was it? No, it wasn't Johnny Dangerously. No, it was a more serious older movie.
Right.
I am
That's
right.
true. That's true. That's true. You are right.
I love that.
But it
movie.
was drinks between shots or shots between drinks. So it got mixed up which is which because like they would be in gunfights and then they would meet at the bar and drink. And I always thought that was that was a funny relationship. It was a good relationship.
Well,
Wait,
that's-
what movie?
So maybe
film
that
noir?
type of situation. That's
Is
how
that a
yeah,
black and white
totally.
movie?
it was definitely a
Maybe.
black and white movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was though.
It's
Yeah, well,
definitely.
you're becoming the old cliche, Gomez, that you and Gord can become best of friends after this. Okay.
All right, cool.
You go to the tunnel. It's wet. It's dark. It's damp. It's cold. Scents of freshly turned earth and salt waft down the groundwater tunnel. A steady rain has caused the runoff in the drainage tunnel to flow a little bit quicker as the time to meet Marissa John approaches. The sound of footsteps is obscured by the patter of rain covering the approach of the figures at either end of the tunnel. As each group approaches, it becomes clear that the rain isn't the only noise in the tunnel. The gangsters approaching you are rhythmically running pipes, bats, and clubs up and down their washboard shields, building to a cacophonous crescendo that stops as suddenly as it began.
All right, can I interrupt this with what I'm doing while this is going on? While this whole thing is going on, I am joking with the brother and like chatting with him, talking about how we checked this place out, and cracking jokes and trying to have as a relaxed, like in counterpost, like in contradiction to the tension that they're trying to build up with all that stuff. I'm trying to have as relaxed a conversation, a casual and relaxed conversation and atmosphere as possible.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Both ends of the tunnel are now filled 2 layers deep of washboard dogs. The crowd at the northern end of the tunnel parts to reveal a human woman in her 30s, dressed in denim and leatherwork clothes and carrying no weapons. A large silver buckle hangs from her belt. She stops 10 feet from you, making a show of sizing you up, and then smirks and jerks a thumb over her shoulder at the gangsters behind her. Pretty good, eh? Builds morale. Anyhow, let's talk.
As like, and I say to what's his name again? I forget his brother's name.
Gord.
Hey, is like, oh hey, Gord, your sister's here. Maybe you want to introduce us. And I actually like pass off to Gord to do the introductions.
I'm still holding out hope for a sledgehammer fight, a la Streets of Fire.
So Marissa also seems to have a hand-rolled cigarette dangling from her mouth. She has black-brown cropped hair. She has almost a do-rag in her head, blue, and she's wearing work clothes. Gord says, "Hey sis, these guys, they're okay. They're the ones that took down the Skinner." And she looks at you all, and Marissa's like, you had my attention when you took my little bro, but taking down the Skinner, now you got my full attention."
Yeah, so like I'm really sorry about that, but you could be a different person. You could be a difficult person to find when you don't want to be found, and so we had to do what we had to do. And I hope you understand.
She holds up her hand, and she's like, "Say no more. You seem to be someone who understands the language of the streets. Totally acceptable."
And so great. So let's get down to business. Yeah, we took out the Skinner. We're after those 3 other sons of bitches, bastards, perverted murderers. And they are our target. And my understanding from Gord here is that you might be able to help us with that.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps. She looks at Gord and says, "You okay? They didn't beat you or anything, did they? Treating you okay?" And Gord looks at you and says, "Oh no, they brought me to the Star Watch. I got to see what those cells are like." And she's like, "Ooh, I see. I got a 4-star treatment here. Nice. That's some pretty nice digs you brought him to." We aren't dealing with dock workers here, are we? Starwatch agents. Yeah, I might be able to help you out a little. I mean, taking out the Skinner was a good start, but I really want to be out from under the Twilight Four's thumb completely. And to that end, I want to help you in your investigation. That's right. I want to help you.
That's great. It looks like the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
That's right. It could be. As you probably know, my dogs have recently fallen into scuffles with a gaggle of misfits called the Dobell Sweepers. The details of this affair are unimportant and would likely just bore such high-ranking officers such as yourselves. All you need to understand is that I need the Sweepers to stop bothering us.
Those guys are the drug fiends, right?
Oh
Yeah.
And they gotta stop. They gotta stop bothering us. They gotta stop bothering the poor people in the area that we protect, preferably for good. You see, the Sweepers, they aren't quite as nice as us. The weapons and chemicals they peddle have caused a lot of destruction across the neighborhood. I've even heard credible rumors that they're brewing a new type of concoction that would give law enforcement like you no shortage of trouble. She pauses and smiles pointedly.
Well, I take that pause to interject. Well, I got to tell you, my position on alchemy, just say no.
Well, in that case, fortunately for you, I know exactly where the Sweepers formulate their new products, as well as the date their boss Bereth plans to visit their secret lab. Now, if my dogs were to attack their lab, and the other gangs in the docks might consider that a step too far, and then we'd have to deal with the Sweepers' allies and our allies, and there would just be gang warfare throughout all the docks, and nobody, not even you, want that. But if the Watch were to raid a particular building and an anonymous tip from a concerned citizen like myself, well, no harm done, right? And, if the Sweepers are taken care of, I'd be freed up to help you more with your investigation. I might even remember where I put this dangerous thing that the Skinner gave to me for safekeeping. And let me tell you, you really, really want to know about this.
So we got the Watchpark Dorgs on one side, and we got the what are the alchemy guys called?
Dobell Sweepers.
The Dobell Sweepers on the other, and us right in the middle.
That's right.
So it's like fistful of dollars. Yojimbo.
Let's do
last man standing.
It's the lesser of the two evils, the friend of your the enemy of your friend. Yeah, pretty much.
Let's do some good.
Yeah, all right. I'm for
Thinking
that.
untouchable. Let's do some good as he raids.
Okay, so like as an internal monologue, I just want to refresh my memory here. If we hit the alchemy guys, that'll rejigger the balance of power in this region, and then everybody will go back to being relatively peaceful, if I understand this correctly.
Yes.
All right, so that works into our larger goals as well. And so, all right, well, let me just have a quick huddle with my buddies here, and I want to have a quick huddle with the party.
Okay.
And so what do you think? We go and we do a little side quest of some law enforcement, and then get the information from her, and then go and deal with our primary target.
I think it's a sound plan.
Sure. Yeah, this one writes itself.
We can't let that hit the streets.
All right, Basil, you're in?
Yep.
All right, so break the huddle, and that sounds like a fine deal. Give us the information, and we'll enforce some laws, and then we can talk business.
Okay. Well, of course, release Gord. That's part of the deal as well.
Oh, did you give the impression? I'm sorry, I gave the impression that Gord wasn't already released. Gord, you're already released. I thought that was clear. I thought it was implied.
Good. Okay, Gord goes over and like Gord whispers something. It's like, sis, you told him about the thing, the package, and it's like, and the sis says, "Is like, what did you say?" It says, "I didn't say anything." It's like, all right, well, yeah, the Skinner, got to get rid of that package. That thing is nasty. All right.
And that's the package that she said she's going to let us know about once we do this for her.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the boss that is going to be meeting at this time?
That's Bloody Burleth.
Oh, Bloody Burleth, right. Okay, yeah.
He's a half orc.
Ah.
And he fights with, I think, a sledgehammer.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Does he wear ridiculous leather overalls?
Yes, he does.
I remember when Doug used to fight with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, those were the days.
The mall
The
days.
halcyon days. Well, Marissa says, this is going to work out well. And she says, we only do what we must to survive. You understand, like, we want nothing to do with drugs or murder or anything like that. We're just trying to protect law-abiding folk from those type of people, from the really evil gangs. We're just trying to, get by on our own.
If you don't mind my asking, how did you get in with the Skinner in the first place?
She looks at you and says, wasn't by choice, I'll tell you that. When Norgabur murder cult comes to you and asks you to do something, it's not easy to say no, especially when some of your own people start missing.
Yeah, they're quite nasty from what we've seen, and it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, as I said, I'm mighty happy you took her down, and I just want to forget that whole episode of my life. But here you go. The Double Sweeper's hideout, an alchemy lab. It's in an abandoned grammar school called Madame Kithy's School of Common Grammar and Behavior. And she gives you the address. And as she gives you the address, those who are regular to Absalom, the blood drains out of your face a little because you realize where this is. This is in a residential area known as Sweet Sand. And that area used to be pretty heavily industrialized about 20 years ago, but recently, as businesses kind of went under for one reason or another, and entrepreneurs couldn't make rent, the Sweet Sand area has become completely abandoned and is filled with nothing but carnage and broken dreams. That place is so bad that not even the Harbor Guard or Absalon Watch or anyone goes there. That is lawless, that area. No one goes there.
Wow.
Not even gang members go there.
The Badlands.
I like it. The Forbidden Zone.
You're going to the Forbidden Zone of Absalom, which is saying something. And the abandoned grammar school is right in the heart of it.
We heard about this school too. This was in our notes. Right?
Yes.
Remember hearing
rumors.
about this? Yeah,
Yes.
rumor, yeah.
Huh.
So she gives you the information, and it looks like that the gang leader will be there tomorrow.
Tomorrow night?
Mm-hmm. All day, all night. Well,
All right.
probably night, and then stay over. So you have a day to take it out, to do a raid on the place. Take them alive.
Or dead, just as good.
Your badge won't like that. Remember, now the badge will turn back on, only when you were dealing with the skin sauce, where you like murder, weapons free. And now you're more back to normal. But it's automatic.
Not lethal, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. It's automatic. So with that, she looks at you and says, if everything works out, we'll meet back here the day after you take care of the Double Sweepers at midnight, and I'll tell you what you need to know and maybe a little bit more.
I like it. Let's do it. Let's head over there.
Do it.
Cool.
Yeah, I say wait till night, I guess, and then try to be somewhat stealthy and not wear our uniforms and, just sort of don't draw too much attention.
Yeah, it's up to you. I mean, it's midnight now. I mean, it's late, so you can wake up and go the next day.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The next night. Like
Next
at
night.
sundown. How about
Yeah, sundown. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
My role as Diplomancer is over. I am ready for tactical combat.
Murder answer.
Yes.
Murder answer. And with that, Marissa just gives a little bow, and Gord actually does a little big wave and almost gives Gomez a little hug. How about that? That's how close you guys got. It's a bromance. You're starting a little bromance. So cute.
I like it.
And then as Marissa fades back into the washboard dogs, they start up their rhythmic chanting and putting their pipes and wrenches up and down the boards, like shoo 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 shoo, and just making a whole bunch of racket as they start gathering themselves and exiting the tunnels. It's very impressive,
I like it. I wish I had a gang now.
You do have a gang of 4.
That's true.
Now we have the Star Watch. Star Watch is our gang, most powerful gang in the city.
And they're gone. And all you hear is thunder and lightning as the rain continues. And they're gone.
All right, I guess head back to the station. I mean, we don't really have much else we need to do, right?
Back to the station you go. Hey, look at that. Oh, hey, you're back at the station. Now what?
And then just wait it out until the next night, right?
Pretty much.
Let's head out.
Okay.
Does anybody want to do something?
Anything you want to do beforehand? Nowsers the timesers.
I think I'm good. I'm all rested up.
Level, but that's a different story.
Well,
We're kind of close. Maybe.
Kind of
I
close.
don't know.
Okay, here we go.
Crossbow at the ready.
Crossbow at the ready, really?
Yeah. Always the Where's your crossbow, Dougie? Are you bringing it with or no?
No.
Dougie doesn't believe in crossbow.
Okay. You head into the Sweet Sand, and sure enough, this place definitely lives up to its reputation. It is completely abandoned. Looks like this is just remember the end of RoboCop? That's what it looks like. Just factories, schoolhouses, downtown LA, where all that industrial is. It's just nasty. Or Blade Runner. Take your industrial park, abandon it for a couple of years, and there you go. So that's what you see. Now, strangely, there's also a mixture of some residential areas, too, because they sort of mix the two. As you approach the School of Common Grammar and Behavior, you see the schoolhouse is one large A-frame, with the ceiling reaching the highest point at about 30 feet in the center of the large school. And it gradually slopes to about 8 feet off the ground on the east and the west of the building. You see the schoolhouse is on the west side. On the east side, you see an area that was obviously a schoolyard where the kids would go and play. And it's surrounded by a small fence that you can peek over if you want. There is an entranceway. And it looks like all the windows have been boarded up with rotted wooden planks. But you do notice that the east-facing windows appear to be somewhat unblocked. So it looks like someone has been busy and removing some of the planks on the east side. All the others appear to be completely intact, though. What do you do?
You've been listening to Roll for Combat, Agents of Edgewatch. If you have a question or comment for the show, please visit us at rollforcombat.com. You can also find us and play various games on our Discord channel at discord.rollforcombat.com.